And brothers and sisters, this is exactly what we need to do. Our job is just to relay Islam. We don't have to argue with people. We don't have to debate with people. You know, subhanAllah, I hear this from so many of my teachers. They were like, very, very few Muslims, or very, very few people become Muslims out of a debate. And even though, yes, there is value in debates and, and us talking to some of the Islamophobes out there, and obviously there is value in that. There's a lot of great people that do that. But at the end of the day, those who actually accept Islam out of a debate are very few. But so many accept Islam by just hearing the message. We have a beautiful message. We have a beautiful deen. We know it. That's why we're here right now at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. We love this deen. We love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our job is just to relay that message. From the youngest person here who was Mus'ab to the oldest person. We have a duty towards our Islam. At least to our immediate families and then our neighborhoods and our communities or whatever. And we just have to relay the message. That's all the Mus'ab did. He was like, sit down. I'll tell you about Islam. That's it. If you don't like it, khalas, I'll move on. And he accepts it. And shortly after him, Sa'd ibn Mu'adh, which is another incredible companion, he also accepts Islam. He was also a leader of another tribe in Medina. And then slowly and patrolly, within few months, Muslims, multiplied from 12 people, 12 men, to around 70 men and women. That the initial thoughts of the Prophet ﷺ moving from Mecca to Medina happened because of Mus'ab. And Medina changed the history after that. Remember when the Prophet ﷺ went to Al-Ta'if and he was trying to find another place to be, it was Medina, it was Medina that started our Muslim state, that started our ummah. And Mus'ab was the one who initiated all of this. He built this really strong Muslim community based on what the Prophet ﷺ taught him and based on what he was commanded from the Prophet ﷺ. And now it's a really fertile land for the Prophet ﷺ to migrate. Because literally a year after that, the Prophet ﷺ migrated, or the Muslims started to migrate into Medina. Because now there's at least 70 Muslims in Medina that are able to support all these people that are coming from Mecca. So subhanAllah, his effort might have been just tell people about Islam. But because of the expansion and the growth of his effort, look what's happening. SubhanAllah, it's always good to reflect on the history of our institutions and masajid in the United States. If you talk to the brothers perhaps who started this masjid many, many years ago, some of them might not even be around anymore. Imagine if they come now and they see how expensive it is now. How big it is now. The programs. The people accepting Islam in this masjid. The kids coming memorizing the Quran. They might have just thought, you know what, we just need a place to pray Jum'ah and the 5 daily prayers and that's it. Maybe that was their vision. That's all they wanted. But small little things can grow so much. That Mus'ab, when he taught these individuals Islam, I'm pretty sure he did not know that Medina will become the next capital of the Muslims. That from there we're going to rule the East and the West. He might not have known that. But he started. He put a seed. And it expanded from there. So subhanAllah, don't ever belittle a small little effort. Even if it's just something as simple as, I'm going to volunteer for the masjid. And subhanAllah, I'm pretty sure this masjid needs a lot of volunteers. Just because the amount of programs that run on a regular basis. And I see, mashallah, a lot of board members here. Talk to them. Find your role. Even if it's just chairs. The Prophet ﷺ praised the woman that used to clean the masjid. We don't even know her name. And when she died, he goes there and he praised janazah on her because he had missed it, because the companions didn't tell him. SubhanAllah, every single one of us have a role. Some of us are going to speak. Some of us are going to do something else. Perhaps this program has to be put together by so many other people. See, brothers, as we kind of close up the story, there is a level of sacrifice that we need to do when it comes to da'wah. And that could be time, that could be like maybe working a little bit less. You know, maybe instead of buying $1 million house, I'll just buy like $750,000 house. Or from 750, like, you know, maybe we need to like downgrade our life a little bit so I don't have to work so much. Because a lot of us work so much, we don't have time for the masjid. And this is a message you relate to someone else. Because we have a duty toward our deen to continue to expand. There is a statistics, and it's predictions. So nobody obviously know. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of our children. A lot of us are immigrants or first generation Muslims. This is the majority of the community in the United States. There are some statistics out there that 2/3 of the third generation Muslims will not be Muslims. Because of the way we're going right now. Now, alhamdulillah, we're at the masjid, we're here. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless our kids and make all of them Muslims and all of our progenies. Allahumma ameen. But now we have a duty outside to spread Islam. And it's a very scary statistic. Because why is that happening? Because Islamic knowledge is not being passed down. Because we came, a lot of us came, our parents, may Allah bless them, came into the United States for the American dream. For good education, for a better life, for better health. But now when we read the stories, when we understand the stories of the companions, our number one duty and sacrifice has to be the da'wah. Has to be the spreading of Islam. To Muslims and to non-Muslims. And this is what's going to ensure that inshallah the second and the third and the fourth and the 100th generations of Muslims in America remain Muslims. And nobody leaves. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect all of our children. Allahumma ameen. Now, Medina happens, people migrated, the Prophet ﷺ migrated, certain battles started taking place. And now came the Battle of Uhud, which is the last piece of our talk inshallah ta'ala, and then I'll end. When the Battle of Uhud happened, Mus'ab was one of the people who carried the flag, as one of the younger people said. He was carrying the flag of the Messenger ﷺ, or the flag of La ilaha illallah. And the war happened, and obviously we know, for those that don't know, during the Battle of Uhud, there was archers on top of the mountain, and they were commanded to stay there. They didn't really listen. They came down. Khalid bin Walid at the side of the Quraysh turned around and started hitting the Muslims, and it was very chaotic. At that time, a lot of people were aiming for the Prophet ﷺ. They wanted to kill the Prophet ﷺ. And actually the rumors in the battle started spreading that the Prophet has been killed. But in all of this chaos, Mus'ab was right there by the Prophet ﷺ defending him. That as he was carrying the raya, as he was carrying the flag, somebody attacked him and he cut his arm, his right arm. So he holds it with his left arm. So he cut his left arm. Right? I know this could be a little graphic for some people, but this is the battlefield. Subhanallah, we would have to understand something, that before Mus'ab was able to sit there and sacrifice and die for Islam, he lived his life for Islam. Because subhanallah, I remember a few years ago, this young guy, he was like, man, you know what? If there was fighting, man, I'll be killing it. I'll be doing all kind of crazy things. I'm like, dude, I'll tell you something. If you're not willing to live for Islam, you will not be able to die for Islam. And nobody here is asked to die for Islam. We just have to live for Islam. And Mus'ab did. So when it came time for him to defend the Messenger ﷺ, to continue the message of Islam, he was there. He was ready to do whatever it takes. So when his left arm, he held it with like his shoulders, you can say. And he continued the flag. And then he kept yelling outside. He kept yelling a verse in Surah Al-Imran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا مُحَمَّدٌ إِلَّا رَسُولٌ قَدْ خَلَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ الرُّسُلُ. Muhammad is nothing like a prophet, like all these prophets that came before him. And he kept yelling, وَمَا مُحَمَّدٌ إِلَّا رَسُولٌ قَدْ خَلَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ. And he was screaming. And this is when he was killed. And he died as a shaheed at that instant. Because usually they would attack the person carrying the flag, because when the flag falls, the lines are, shaking up and It's a lot easier to lose this way. But he was right there until the last moment of his life. And remember, what's really important for us is to understand that up to this point, he lived his entire life for Islam. And that's what we need to do. Again, there's no wars. We just have to live for Islam, just like Mus'ab. You know, subhanAllah, when all of this was done, the Prophet ﷺ started going around to check on who died and who's still alive. And he finds Mus'ab. And he stands by his body. And he started to cry. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And he was crying, he started making dua for him. And then he recited, مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ رِجَالٌ صَدَقُوا مَا عَاهَدُوا اللَّهَ عَلَيْهِ. From the believers are men who kept their promise with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This was one of them. And then the Prophet ﷺ turns to his companions and he says, اللهم إني أشهد أن هؤلاء شهداء عند الله يوم القيامة. O my companions, I make you a witness that these are the martyrs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the day of judgment. And martyrs go straight to Jannah. They skip everything. Expressway, right straight into Jannah. And then the Prophet ﷺ, and this is a command for us, he says, فَآتُوهُمْ وَزُرُوهُمْ. Then come to them and visit them. Come visit these people. And the Prophet ﷺ told us, go visit. And then he says, وَالَّذِي نَفْسِي بِيَدِهِ. I swear by Allah, لَا يُسَلِّمَ عَلَيْهِمْ أَحَدًا إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ إِلَّا رَدُّوا عَلَيْهِ. That not a single person who visits them and sends his salam except that they reply his salam. SubhanAllah. That next time we go to Medina, inshallah, and we go visit them, and we say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to Mus'ab or any of the other companions who died in that battle, they will reply the salam back. They would hear and they will reply back, based on this hadith. And this was the end of the life of Mus'ab radiallahu anhu. You know, what I really want everybody to leave with today is that we have a duty towards our deen. And that duty is going to be different based on who we are. And based on our age, our resources, what we're able to do. But a lot of it starts with sacrifice. We have to sacrifice for our deen. It could be sleep, could be less work, whatever it is. Everybody knows their circumstances. In order for this deen to continue, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, alhamdulillah, He's just protecting the deen. The deen is protected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why the scholars would always say, oh Allah, use us and not replace us. Allahumma sta'milna wa la tastabdilna. Oh Allah, use us, do not replace us. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to use us for the khidmah and for the service of this deen. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to use us for the service of the ummah of the deen. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us from the people of the sacrifice. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us love the companions, so inshallah we can be resurrected with them. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Inshallah, before I end, I would like to make an announcement. Some of you already might know this, but inshallah I'm taking a group to Umrah during spring break. It's my first group, inshallah, I'm going to be taking to Umrah. I'm very, very excited. One of the guys here, inshallah, is going to come with us. He promised he's coming. So inshallah, if you're interested, come. It's again during spring break. The package, alhamdulillah, is very economic. It's around $16.99 for 6 nights, 3 nights in Mecca and 3 nights in Medina. We're staying, alhamdulillah, at 5-star hotels. So we're not staying in some shady places. And they're right by the Haram in both places. I'll be there, inshallah, for the whole time, from leaving from JFK all the way until we come back. So again, if you have any questions, I think the flyer is out there by the door for both the brothers and the sisters. So if you're interested, inshallah, let me know. We still have a few spots, alhamdulillah. Does anybody have any questions, comments, reflections, anything wants to share? No? Okay, I think we'll probably have to wait for a couple of minutes to pray, correct? Right, because I think sunrise just came up, so inshallah, I'll end here, and just make dua or just say adhkar, inshallah, until the time comes. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.